Let me ask you a question. Have you played every game that you wanted to play this year? If the answer is yes, then good for you. Let me know what they are in the comments. But if you're anything like me, the answer is a resounding no. And the list of games you have played is about 5 times smaller than the list of games you haven't played, but really want to. And while the constant build-up of a video game backlog can be frustrating and feel like a never-ending task to get through, this year I've grown to see the beauty in the backlog. The joy in a never-ending list of potentially wonderful games. Cracking a smile every time I open up that notes page and add a newly discovered game to the list, and I get reminded of all those waiting for me. I've come to terms with pretty much never finishing my backlog, and knowing that as it grows ever larger, I could always be discovering my next favourite game of all time. At the start of 2024, I went in having very few games I was looking forward to. Shadow of the Erdtree, yeah. The minute possibility of Silksong, for sure. But in terms of a solid list of games I was planning for, it felt like the perfect opportunity to start grinding away at the backlog. So I did. I finally tackled Unsighted, a beautiful and challenging Zelda-inspired sci-fi Metroidvania that I'd put off for ages. I played Signalis, a PS1-style survival horror with a mind-bending narrative that made me really want to get deeper into the survival horror genre. I beat Mad Max after first starting it years ago, a criminally underrated open-world adventure game with Arkham-style combat and a vehicle upgrade system that feels authentic to George Miller's world. So it was a great start to the year, steadily chipping away at the backlog, but was quickly slowed by the fact that 2024 has had sleeper hit after sleeper hit. And with the almost constant barrage of new releases, the backlog was put on hold to focus on the new, attempting to squeeze in a backlog game whenever a gap appeared. But more games kept coming out of nowhere and would completely absorb me. I'll save the details for a Game of the Year video in a couple of weeks, so subscribe if you want to check that out. This also had the unfortunate downside of many games slipping through the cracks, destined for the backlog. But I have noticed that I have actually been pretty successful in the goal I set myself a couple of years ago with my You Haven't Played Your Favourite Game video. In that, the variety of games that I'm deciding to play is much broader than it would have been a few years ago. And this extends to games being put on the backlog. There are shooters, roguelikes, deck builders, puzzle games, platformers, Metroidvanias, point-and-click adventure games, turn-based tactics games, tower defense games, and large-scale RPGs, just to name a few. And that is just with games that I haven't had the time to play, just released this year. My gaming palette, as it were, has become much more varied because I'm choosing to add these games to a list of games I will play later, rather than just completely ignoring them in favour of another release. But the likes of Minishoot Adventures and Balatro came out swinging without me having any knowledge of them prior. And it's these, what I like to refer to as pop-up games, which have made me come to the realization that the backlog for me is less important to tackle as something to be beaten than it is to simply enjoy games when I feel like playing them, be them new or old. If I'm playing a new release game and it ends up being one of my favourite games of all time, as several have this year, then I'm more than happy for the backlog to wait, because I know that that list of games I'm yet to touch will give me more experiences just like those I've already played. I'm putting games on the backlog not because I think I will enjoy them any less than games I'm already playing, I'm putting them there because I know that I will, but I only have so much time in the day and money to spend on games at any given time, and it keeps me excited for the future. But there is often a fear of missing out when it comes to new and exciting game releases. I try my best to keep up to date on games media and discussions through social media and various games-related podcasts, and seeing discussions and excitement around new releases makes me want to jump in and be a part of that conversation, or at least have an understanding of the discussion. This, of course, leads to more neglect of the backlog. This has become quite a bit stronger this year as I've taken up streaming again, the demands of which often force a feeling of needing to be up to date and play games as they are released to maximise on the hype and draw in new viewers, even if it's not something that I would necessarily enjoy playing. This feeling of FOMO is definitely something I'm trying to avoid moving forward in favour of allowing a discussion around a game to happen before jumping in myself. Allowing time to decide whether I should play a game there and then, or hold off and put it on the backlog for a time when I think I may need it more. I hope to one day be in a position where I can play every game I want as soon as it's released, but unfortunately, as with most people, that just isn't a possibility. You can't play everything, and that's fine. There are so many games that I held off on playing for a good while after launch simply because I didn't feel it was the right time for me. Outer Wilds, Signalis, Unpacking, and Hollow Knight are just a few examples of games I didn't play until I felt a real need to experience them. And because of this, they were able to hit harder and have become some of my favourite games of all time. Games are an art form, and in that, there are games that need a certain level of emotional investment. And that is why they're on the backlog, not just because I haven't got around to them yet, but because I want to be able to appreciate them in a way that I think they deserve. 2024 has been one of the best years for new indies, and I firmly believe that 2025 will continue that trend. And with the end of year discussions bringing about even more recommendations, the backlog will continue to grow. My current list of games from 2024 put on the backlog consists of 9 Souls, Cryptmaster, Grunn, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Rise of the Golden Idol, Tactical Breach Wizards, I Am Your Beast, Witchfire, Frostpunk 2, Neva, and so many more, with new releases continuing into December. And that just stacks on top of the hundreds of games I already had on that list. Keeping a log and looking back at old Game of the Year podcasts, especially from the likes of MinMax and NoClip, and just simply scrolling Steam helps me keep adding to the backlog. And I truly hope it never stops growing, so I can keep remembering why I love video games. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any recommendations from 2024 or earlier, please do leave them in the comment section, or chat to me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/jakitup, where I will be playing some of these games and many more over the coming months, and it would be great to have you there. But for now, I think it's time for another Balatro run.